Hi, this is John with VersaFeed and Vinquire. Today we're going to be talking about wine and how it is going to be re-enabled for the Google Shopping Network. About 5 months ago, Google Product Search changed into a pay-per-click environment known as Google Shopping. With that change, they banned numerous products, including all alcohol-related products. However, as of February 2013, multiple Google reps have confirmed that they are going to allow wine back onto Google Shopping. So this presentation is going to discuss what merchants should do to get ready for these upcoming changes. Okay, so let's rewind very briefly here and look at what Google Shopping is. I've searched for cheese board here. You can see we've got 5 different image ads at the top. These are called product listing ads. These are part of the Google Shopping Network, and this is where we want to start listing again as a wine merchant. Let's go ahead and click on Shop for Cheese Board on Google. And now we're further into the actual Google Shopping environment, and you can see we've got multiple products from multiple vendors, and we'll go ahead and click one of those. And what you'll see at this point is that you can actually click on links if you'd like to retailers for this particular product. So what do we need to do to get our wines into these high visibility areas once Google reopens this for wine? First, we're going to need a data feed of all of our products being sent to Google on a regular basis so they have that information. Second, we're going to need a bidding strategy. And this is something that's new for retailers since Google Product Search transitioned to Google Shopping. We're going to have to figure out what we're willing to pay per click. And lastly, we're going to have to figure out how to get reporting back, because now that there's a pay-per-click component, we want to make sure that whatever we spend, we're definitely getting back in terms of revenue. Okay, so let's look briefly at the data feed section. If you're a VersaFeed client, you're already aware that we're uploading your feeds constantly to Google with all of your inventory. The only major concern here is that you're going to have to check this box inside of Google Merchant Center that says this site contains adult products. Google now considers wine an adult product, and if you don't check this box, your products are not going to list. Okay, so let's move on to bidding here. Bidding is always done through AdWords. However, there are a few different general techniques you can utilize to bid. We're going to walk through each one of these. The first one, all products, is when you bid a single amount for every single item that you have. The second, auto targets, we're going to show an example of that inside of AdWords in a second. And then lastly, we're going to cover our own tool, VersaFeed's Google Shopping Manager, which we feel is a more complete solution. So let's go ahead and take a look at an actual AdWords campaign here. Okay, so here we are in a fake AdWords account that we're going to use for testing here. Let's go ahead and talk about the first option that you have, where you can bid one cost per click price for every single product that you have. So all you would do here is select Add All Products, which you can see is already selected. You would click Save, and we would set a bid. So this is great in that it's very simple. However, it's really horrible in that you're going to be bidding the same price for, let's say, a cheap Central Coast Merlot versus a Premier Cru French wine. So it's easy, but it's not really going to maximize your profit. The second option that you can do is what we mentioned as auto targets, and that's where essentially you can come in here and you can select from a variety of different factors that I'm going to highlight here, and you can create groups based on these factors and then bid on them. So you'll see that there's ID, product type, and brand. These are the three that are most commonly used. ID will let you specify a SKU level bid for one individual product. Product type will let you bid on, let's say, if you have French wines or red wines or something along those lines where you've categorized the products in different areas. And then brand will let you bid if you've specified a particular brand. So this does provide much more power than a simplistic default bid for all of your products. However, it still doesn't allow you to do things like set price bids. So let's say you have French wines that are less than $15 and then French wines that are greater than $15 or maybe even greater than $200. You're going to want a tool that's going to allow you to bid on those in different factors, and that's where something like Google Shopping Manager, VersaFeed's own internal tool, comes into play. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Okay, so here we are at the VersaFeed dashboard for an example wine client. There's a lot of different things you can do here, but of course we're going to be focusing on Google Shopping Manager. So let's click over here. Then click on Bid Management. You can have multiple sets of rules. Only one set is active at any given time. Let's go ahead and take a look at one of these example sets and get some real-world examples of what this tool can do. Okay, so you'll see that we've created quite a few different rules here. If I scroll down, you'll see there's about 7 or 8 of these. And we're going to walk through these one by one and show you what they mean. The first thing to notice is that on the left-hand side, you can see the column titled Ad Group. You can title these whatever you want. It's just a moniker so you can remember what the intention of the rule was when you created it. So let's go ahead and look at the first one titled CA Cab 100 Plus. So you can see we've made three different criteria that make up this rule. First, region contains California, varietal contains Cabernet, and price is greater than $100. So right off the bat, you can see this is a much more powerful tool than what we were looking at inside of AdWords. So we've defined a very explicit group here of expensive California Cabernets, and then we've set a bid that correlates with that price. So it's $1 per click that we've set, but it's a very expensive product. You'll also see on the right-hand side what's called the promotional text, and this is text that will display next to your Google product listing ads when they display on google.com. So it's really great because we can tie the actual promotional text directly to the group. So if someone did search for an expensive California Cabernet, your ad will hopefully show up, and it might show up with the promotional text that we have here, which says luxury California cabs on sale. So it's a win-win in that we're defining a very detailed group, and we're going to have very explicit text come up next to it that correlates to the group. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the next group that we have here. So you'll see this group is titled 2011 Futures $50 Plus, and you'll see that the criteria for the group is the category contains the word Bordeaux, the price is greater than $50, and the description contains the word futures. So obviously what we're trying to do here is promote our 2011 French Bordeaux futures. We've set a relatively high bid. Of course, you could change that to be whatever you want. And of course, we've also set promotional text that correlates directly to this particular group, 2011 futures available now. So let's look at the next group here, which is going to be a different style. The first thing you'll notice is that we've titled it No Advertising, and the second is that we've set the bid to a penny, which is as low as you can go in Google Shopping. So essentially what we're telling Google here is that we actually don't want any of these products to show up. We're not interested in paying per click for these products. So the criteria that make up this particular group are products that are not desirable. So we've set brand contains Franzia or Charles Shaw, we've set price less than $10, and we've set region contains the word Lodi. So hopefully we're not offending anybody here, but typically these are products that we don't really want to bid on. The other thing you'll notice is that we've set this to be what we call an OR rule. So up here, you'll see that there's an option. You can say any of the following rules or all of the following rules. The previous examples have all been all of the following rules, as in every one of these criteria has to match in order for the rule to actually trigger. For this particular rule, any of these can be true, and we're going to set the bid to a penny. So if we see Franzia, Charles Shaw, or if the price is less than $10, or if the region contains the word Lodi, we're going to bid a penny for this. So this is, again, what we call an OR rule. Okay, so let's look at the next rule. We're calling this one stale white inventory, and we've set a few criteria. Essentially, we're trying to get rid of white wines here that are past their prime. The price is greater than $50. The inventory, as in quantity on hand, is greater than 50. And you can also see we've set year to be a past prime year, as in 2005, 6, 7, 8. So obviously, these wines need to move. So I'm not going to go into the rest of the rules with as much detail, but what you'll see below is that we've created a few relatively simplistic rules to catch the rest of the products here. You'll see that if a product is less than $25, we're going to bid it at 15 cents. If it's between 25 and 100, we'll bid it at 35 cents. And if the price is 100 or more, we will bid that at 65 cents. So these three final rules will allow you to create kind of a catch-all for products that didn't match the very explicit rules that we created above these. One last thing to note is that if you do want to manage these rules via a CSV file or create rules via Excel, you can do that here under the Upload Rule Set file area. So you can create some example rules via the web interface, then you can download them into a CSV format, and then you could modify them, adding as many as you'd like in Excel, and then upload them here and we'll process them. So if you do want to create a lot of different groups, that's not a problem. You can do that via Excel. Okay, so now let's go ahead and move on to reporting. Okay, so here we are in the Google Shopping Manager reporting area. We're going to see a list of all of the groups that we created from the previous screen, and we're going to see some detailed information about exactly how much we spent, as in the cost of each of these, and how much revenue we've generated from each of these. So we're going to be able to figure out which groups are making money, which groups are losing money, and then we're going to figure out how to adjust these to try to maximize ROI. So keep in mind, this is example data. If you see some numbers that don't add up exactly, it's because of that. Okay, so let's look at a few of the groups we made and see how they're doing. So the first group, CA Cab 100 Plus, you can see that we've made $430 and we've spent $24. So we've got a really great ROI on this. This would be an example of a group that doesn't really need any adjustment. On the flip side, let's go ahead and take a look at a group that we might want to adjust. So you see group number 6 here, $100 plus. This was one of the groups that we created at the bottom as kind of a catch-all, where if the price of the product was over $100, we were going to bid a certain amount. And our revenue is actually not too bad on this. We've made $325 and we've spent $89. But let's see how we could go ahead and figure out which SKUs in this group are doing well and which SKUs are doing poorly. And we do that by clicking on the name of the group. And you'll see we've transitioned now into a different tab on the top that says SKU. And this is a full list of all of the SKUs that are contained in the $100 plus ad group. The layout of this page is very similar to the group page we were looking at previously, except now obviously it's all SKU. So we can see for each individual product how many clicks we got, how much we spent for those clicks, and what the overall revenue was. Utilizing this detailed information, we can refine this group to try to increase ROI. So our goal here is going to be to find products that are getting lots of clicks but not converting and move them into a different group, namely the no advertising group that we had set up on the previous screen. So you can see pretty easily here we have a few SKUs that are getting clicks but are not generating any revenue. So let's go ahead and move them. So the first thing we'll do is select them, and we're going to choose just a couple as an example here. And again, all of these are generating no revenue, so we're going to want to move them to the no advertising group. So we select them and then we click change ad group, and then we'll go ahead and select, as you can see here, the no advertising group, and then we'll click save. And as we continue to do this, we're going to refine our group to get rid of the products that are losing money, and we're going to see the overall ROI increase for this particular group. Of course, doing this over and over for each individual SKU can be tedious, so we do have some filters that will allow you to set this up automatically, where you can say, if I've received over a certain amount of clicks and I have not made over a certain amount of revenue, then I want to move these products into a different ad group. Lastly, you can see at the top of the screen we do have a few other reporting methods, namely brand, category, and price range. I'm not going to run through those because the screencast is already running long, but they do allow you to drill down on your products in various different methods and continue to refine your groups and increase ROI. Okay, and that concludes the presentation on Google Shopping Manager for wine merchants. If you have any questions, you can see our contact information on the screen here. Give us a call, drop us an email. Good luck out there on Google Shopping.